I'm at Zurich again, this time in a more suitable aircraft. The F-18 proved a real handful for me to wrestle around that short course. Yep, this would be much more suitable. The Zurich Shock Ultra, which is part of the standard fleet in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So let's check the control surfaces. So we're watching the GoPro camera that my trusty ground crew's using. Flaps really move quick on this aircraft, look at that. Okay. There's no speed brakes or any of that fancy stuff, no arrestor hooks. So he's going to shuffle around to the front, give me a nod. There he is nodding, very good. And I'll nod back. Cool, thank you. Just one final look at the map. Great. So we're heading down to the south, down to the lake at Zurich, which you can see there, near that ZH650 marking. Then heading up a valley, following a river road and railroads, all heading along the same direction onto waypoint 2. Very easy to follow. Then there's an intersection of valleys actually. One comes in from the left. We go up to waypoint 3, it's only a few miles. And just as we start to see the river turn up there, we will turn right, and this is the border between waypoint 3 and 4. That's it. Pretty simple. So it's basically northwest, north and east. Even I can remember that. Now at the moment we're heading north, so we're going to have to turn around after takeoff, of course. So have I got everything ready? Flaps down. Yep. Can I throttle up? Take this wheel brake off. Feet on the rudders. This thing takes off really quickly. 40 knots, and yeah, just leaps into the air in a pretty uncontrolled fashion. Now there's no landing gear to retract, but I can lift the flaps. And yep, they're already up. They're that quick. Wow. Pitching all over the place here like a mad person. Now, so we want to go down to the south. So let's just try to get this thing trimmed out. Yeah, nice. Phew. Now, one nice thing about the Hornet, it did have a radar altimeter, but I mean, not too. Hang on, wait till I deal with this guy. Mike India Golf 1. Mike India Golf 1.
Zurich Tower MiG-007 continue for north departure.
Not too bad at judging height. We're about 200 feet, I reckon, at the moment, above the runway. So we'll continue to climb. Let's return southish. So we're heading right for the middle of that dip. You can see there between these two hills. Great visibility out of this aircraft too, I've got to say. Let's keep climbing, eh? So this is much more leisurely than the that wild ride in a Hornet. And I've done hundreds of flights now in the Mackie MB339. I'm pretty comfortable in that. But boy, oh boy, you change your aircraft, you change a lot of variables. So, but I just want to give people some variety. You got 600 videos up in the MB339, so I want to start to share the love around a bit. Mind you, that is a great aircraft for sightseeing and quickly doing recce's of new terrain, which is why I use it. But really for these VFR flights you want something nice and sedate like this. You get time to really smell the roses. So there we go. Now the runway altitude, what is it? Let's have a look. Look at my notes. Yes, 1400 feet. So, yeah, we're about 900 feet altitude above the ground now. So that's right, I recommend between 1,000, 1,500 feet above the ground. So you can see things like the next waypoint very clearly. We can see that lake very easily from thousands of feet above the ground, but you can't really see it early on if you're too low. Not that it matters when you're going this slow. Sitting on 60 knots, which kind of seems like we're not moving after that last flight, but pretty nice. I'll just play with my seat position. There we go, bump it up a bit. There's Lake Zurich. Zurich. Let's bump up the speed a bit. It's interesting, a lot of these modern aircraft are going to glass cockpits, at least for the engine panel, and in fact many of them for all the instruments. So this waypoint is where that river meets the lake. Mike India Golf 1.
Zurich Tower MiG-007 frequency change.
Glorious colours over there. So there we go, there's a good overview of Zurich from 3,000 feet. So about 1,500 feet above the terrain over there. The terrain's a bit higher here. It's quite early in the morning, 8:22 AM. Last flight I did was towards dusk, so I'll do one later, around midday. Right, so we're going to follow that rail line. We can see the big terminus there, and that goes up following a highway and the river up this valley. Let's put the seat down a bit, maybe I can see up there. Yeah, and then the sun, towards the sun. Cool. Right, let's start our turn. Lots of boats in the river today. So we're heading up that valley. Let's go check out the boats. Nice. Okay, speed up again. So that's where we took off. You can just about make out the airport over yonder, somewhere over there. I might go a bit low level through town, why not? So this thing will fly down to about 30 knots. So they say. Doing 86 knots at the moment. Big stadium on the left there. Yeah, it looks, I reckon if I follow the railway line, it's probably about the safest route between all these high objects here. It's an impressive building. So just getting back to about 80 knots. Oh, look at that crane. And the load slung underneath. Stick to the railway. Main road's on the right over there. Beautiful autumn colours. Just swing to the right here, stay over these parks I think. Still following the railroad. About halfway across the main body of Zurich now. It's a large building. Sitting around 80 knots. So how cool is this? Now the next time around I'll probably follow the river and we'll see a whole bunch of different things. So pretty much 3 choices up this valley. You've got the rail line, the highway and the river. Wow. What a job sitting up in that cabin. I'm scared of heights, so it wouldn't be the job for me. Look out for the big cranes too. The railroad's taking off to the left here, so I'll just check my position on the map. Yeah, not too bad. You see the river on the right. Oh, it's turned back to the north. It's okay. It's just a little curve in the road. Oh no, we're actually over the highway now. What we're talking about. The rail did go off to the left. Okay, well, that's good to know. So when you get out of town, which we are now, right on the edge of town, the rail seems to head to the left. We want to keep going up this way. And that famous last words, it's come back again. So there's so much to explore. I mean, when I create these missions, I fly the route many times back and forward, but usually not at this low altitude and not strictly following these windy features. Would normally be up about 1,000 feet, trying to stay in this wide and not too deep valley, which you can pretty much plot a straight line up the middle of. That's exactly what I did. Wow, look at the size of that. Well, marshalling yard, I guess. Much more leisurely way to fly. Now normally in the jet I've finished the flight by now. As it is, I'm about 1, 2, 3, only about a sixth of the way around, so it might take me an hour to get round this speed. We'll see how I go. It's at 15 minutes already. See how fast this thing will go. If I can get another 20 knots out of it, that will help. So it's 74 at the moment. Coming up to 80. At 92. .88, 90 knots. I reckon 90 knots is probably as fast as it wants to go. Yeah, sitting on 91. I reckon that's about the sweet spot. And I've got the engine firewalled, so hopefully it doesn't blow up or anything. It's a big quarry there. Lots of spots here to land helicopters too. Lots of open fields, which is nice, and amphibious aircraft can hop up and down the river. So we're about 2/3 of the way to waypoint 1, continuing up this valley. So the road winds around there, it looks like it goes into a tunnel actually. Right, so that little bit of high ground there, we'll fly around that actually, stay in the valley. The flight plan goes straight over it, but that's just to keep it simple. Otherwise I'd have to put another waypoint in here, another one on that corner, another one just around the corner, so that's 3 extra waypoints, which is just like extra bookkeeping you don't really need. Having said that, in the interests of expediting to some extent this flight, I will cut a straight line over this hill. Right, and having done that, I can now see the next turn point. It's trying to get it centered up on the nose of the plane. There you go, right just above the nose of the plane right now. It's where a valley comes in from the left, and also from the northwest, but we're veering right. Where are we heading now? About 300, so we're going to go about 60 degrees right where those 3 valleys meet. Is there a bridge or something there? Just check my notes. Waypoint 2, bridge at Turkey, follow the river north. Okay. So there's a bridge just about off the nose. Once again, I'll get the nose on it. Right there. Probably where the river does that dog leg left and right. It doesn't matter if you miss it, because the main point is to know that we're at this point where the valleys meet, and we're going to turn up that valley to that river. I can see it from here. Yep, we're going to turn to the north. It's only 5, 6, 7 miles, I guess, from here up to that river. And just before we get to that river, we're going to turn hard to the east and follow the border. Let's have a look at the map and see if that helps us as well. Yep, see, almost at waypoint 2. It's where the triangle is, actually. Okay, so it's the bridge right off the nose. How's that? I picked one right in the middle of everything. And I'll come left a bit. So 2 rivers meet there too. Come left a bit so we're going to look out the window as we turn over it. Possibly from here. Yep, that's it. It's the nominated bridge. And here we go, turning to the right. Bit of jitteriness in the GoPro there. It's mounted on my flight helmet. Great, so just following the river. Now, I can already see the next turn point from here. It's going to be, I'll get it centered up right in the center of the view, just before that hill and the river. That's what I reckon, but we'll see. Gorgeous stuff. What's the time now? 8:36. Let's check our map again. Yep, there we go. So waypoint 3 is a bridge on that river, just over that ridge to the east-west river. His name I did not write down. Another quarry there. All over the place around here, actually. Guess they were digging sand or limestone or something similar. So sitting on 2,000 feet. I reckon we're about 1,000 feet above the ground, more or less. And we're halfway to this next waypoint. So Zurich, lots of banks and cheese with holes in it. Power station there, yeah, it looks like it. Just popping into view, yep. That's part of the power lines mod I have installed here at the moment. Check that out on another occasion. Wow, lots of towers and lines and generators there. Transformers rather. You know, I'll reiterate that of course these flights are based on the default scenery, like so you won't see that cooling tower over there or that power station in the default scenery, not yet anyway, but that's why I haven't used features like that for the flight planning. In fact, when I do the planning flights I turn all of this extra detail off. So we're just about over the bridge actually. I've been babbling away. Now see where the 2 rivers meet? That corner there, that's the one we're following over to the right. So you could fly right up to it, which is fine. And that's the bridge where the waypoint actually is placed, but let's actually go right up to the river. Because the border actually does follow that river. Once again, I could have put a waypoint at that bridge, another one at this corner, another one at the next corner, but why? I've kept the whole flight down to 4 waypoints, and I think that's much more fun than micromanaging the flight. These flights are about getting your head out of the cockpit, following the natural features. So in this case, this river, and right in that corner there is German-Swiss border. So we're going to skirt the border, follow this river. Let's get down a bit lower too. So this is about, it's about 10 miles, I guess, this leg. Slow down a bit in the dive. Just check our map while I do that. It's always a good time to read a map when you're diving. Yeah, I'm just off the top of the map. I'm going to pull it down a bit so we can see it. There we go. Ooh, yeah, really good time to read a map when you're heading for power lines. Wow. That's awesome. So, note to self, do not read maps when diving and or near power lines. So let's follow this river. This looks spectacular. So 26 minutes. This is a long flight for me, but that's okay. Enjoying it. Cut across this corner a bit. Say hello to the nice German people over there. Flying under a cloud, I guess, at the moment. It's 8:42. Sun is coming up. Right, I'm going to drop down again. This time I won't read the map as I descend. Very nice. Okay, I'll probably stop this video at about the 13-minute mark because I'm actually exactly halfway around the route at the moment, which would make it 1 hour to fly the whole route, 43 miles. So there we go. That's good to know. It's a good hour of fun. Yeah, and of course you can extend it if you land in a field. Go and have some Swiss cheese and a cup of coffee. But around about 80 knots ish, it's going to take you about an hour. 29 minutes now. And there's another quarry on the right, really big one too. I'll just get back into the sunlight, and actually I might climb, see if we can spot the next waypoint, and then I'll stop the recording.